Well, nice crowd this evening.
Done something wrong.
Item passes 5-0. Item 5, principal, supervisor, and faculty reports. Who wants to go first?
Drake, and Caleb's mom, Tamara, and Mark Light is our 4-H educator, and we're going to be presenting some of the things that we've been doing.
Being in Hardin County, I think many of you are familiar with the traditional 4-H program, and Tech Wizards is one of the outreach programs that we're trying to expand both our reach with 4-H, but also our reach to new audiences. Many of you may or may not know that I went to undergrad at Ohio Northern and have an undergrad degree in engineering, and so national grant. And so in Ohio, we received the grant. We're one of 4 counties out of 88 that is doing the Tech Wizards program. And in Hardin County, we have that program in Kenton and in Ada. And the really difficulty with the last 4 years in doing the Tech Wizards program was the difficulty in not being able to get to all 3 elementaries in Kenton because we knew that the need was certainly there in all elementaries. So the new school and the building of that school allowed and afforded us the opportunity to have this program this year opened up to everyone. So we are doing this this year with 4th graders, and over the course of time have done it with about 100 4th and 5th graders throughout the time of the grant. The grant cycle is a little bit unique in that it always starts in February, so we just started the 5th year of funding, and it'll run through next January. Okay, next Amanda is going to talk a little bit about the main grant initiatives.
So like Mark said, we're focusing on science, technology, engineering, and math, but we are using those as a catalyst for a mentorship program. So the main focus is to give our young people a caring adult that is with them at least for 2 hours a week. And our grant is a 1-to-4 ratio. So we have one volunteer that works with a specific group of 4 kids each week. And in the Kenton program, our volunteers are all parents. Parents are not paired with kids who are their own. So they are working with 4 children who normally they're not with all the time. And for some kids, this might be the 2 hours a week where they have an adult focused just on them and their group. My background, I have a degree in broadcasting and electronic media, so we focused our first project on filmmaking. And the kids are really excited to show you the video that we made for the school. And I'm going to introduce Tamara. She's one of our parent volunteers, and she's going to tell you a little bit about why she's involved in our program.
Hi, I'm Tamara. I'm Caleb's mom. One of the reasons why I chose to be a parent volunteer for Tech Wizards is that it's a small way to be able to serve the community and be a positive part of everybody. I can be a part of my child's peers and get to learn about them and the things that they like to do, which help further discusses things when we get home and more questions because I know more about his life. Science and technology is important for everyone's future. The kids are given a topic, they have to brainstorm about it, and they have to come up with the idea. Then they're going to try out their theory. After the theory, they come back together and discuss what ideas worked, what ideas did not work. And then they make changes to a plan, or they may make a totally different plan altogether. So then they try it again, and we see how that worked. And usually it's generally better the second time around. We let them make all their choices, although we may ask questions to get them thinking about the bigger picture. And that sometimes changes the outcome on how they are thinking. I feel this program is important to these kids. It provides learning and fun at the same time. It also creates a bond and long-lasting friendships because these kids are really close together. The kids have a lot of energy and they're very excited to come and figure out what we're going to do that day. They're like, what are we doing? You know, they get really excited. They're eager to learn. They can express themselves and be silly. Amanda has a really clever way of being able to redirect if need be to get back on track to where we need to be. With after-school programs like these, we can keep kids actively involved, learning and growing, and the kids are our future. So I think it's a really good program for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
For our first Tech Wizards project, we decided to make a video tour of the new school. We thought it would be fun to make a movie. We decided to make our movie about the new school because some people have not been to the building yet. This movie is a way that the voters can see the school if they didn't come to the open house. This video might also help kids who are going to move to our school. They can watch the video and become familiar with the school before they move, which will make the transition easier for them.
Before we could start making the tour movie, we had to learn the basics of film making. We spent a few weeks learning shot compositions, finding good lighting and backgrounds, camera movements like how to tilt and pan, and how to record a good interview. We practiced everything and learned on the playground and had volunteers check our work. Then we were ready to start our school movie tour. Next, we learned about the movie making process. The first step in making any movie is planning the process. We made a list of everywhere that needed to be in our school tour and important people to interview. We divided all of the places between the small groups so that each group had to get video of 2 places and interview one person. After getting all the video, we edited all of the clips together into a single movie. We took out the audio from our footage so that we could do voiceovers to narrate the movie. Each person got to narrate about one place in the school.
When our movie was finally finished, we planned a red carpet premiere. We invited our families, teachers, and principals to come to the event. All of the tech wizards had a job during the premiere. Some greeted guests and walked the carpet. Some were photographers at a photo booth. A few got to serve popcorn and drinks. Others gave demonstrations of skills we learned during the project. After we showed the movie, we answered questions from the audience. There were 63 people at the premiere party. The movie was uploaded to YouTube so that we could share it with the whole community. You can find it by searching KES Tour R Kenton Tech Wizards.
So the pictures that you're seeing now are from the premiere event, and I just want to kind of reiterate what some of the kids said. Everything you're going to see in the school tour was done by the kids. They picked the locations they thought were important, from the office to the janitor's closet. They helped write the script. They chose who was going to be interviewed, and they actually wrote the questions that they were going to ask those people. They also helped with the voiceover. They recorded their voice, which for some of them was very intimidating, and then we put that into the video as well. And it was their idea to put it on YouTube so that everyone could see it. So we're going to show you the video. It runs about 4.5 minutes long, and everything that you see was done completely by the kids.
That's great.
You can go ahead and interrupt that and do the video, please.
Do the movie.
Movie.
There should be sound.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, we left this part up to him.
He's not an architect.
He turned up.
The first virtual visit after school is open. The open has 50 beds and a workroom with computers. There are 4 principals at the school and they all have their own homes. We have created 3 goals: be respectful, be responsible, and be safe. This is to decrease disruptive behaviors and increase positive interactions in our building. At their meeting, the office is mostly in the cafeteria. Besides lunch, we also use the cafeteria for takeaways and meetings.
My absolute favorite part of the school would have to be the cafeteria area because it has beautiful terrazzo floors and it also has a beautiful wildcat mural that's made of open words.
Before all of the walls were painted and the signs were up, it used to really look weird. So I don't really get lost anymore because the road signs are up and I kind of know my way about now.
Each car has a name. Pre-K and kindergarten is entire active. First and second is entire mobile party. Third and fourth is string board, and fifth and sixth is a subject. Each pod also has a social study window. Each pod has an extended learning area. The ELAs have tables for studying and a reading area with couches. There is also a smartboard and ELA used for technology classes. Each pod has about 13 classrooms. The classrooms have all been for its own.
Wow, this room is not larger, but it does have the lockers inside the room and has a lot better easy access storage space, and I like the way it's laid out.
Each pod also has its own restroom, except for pre-K and kindergarten. They have restrooms in each classroom. Pre-K through second grade have a floor-to-ceiling playground that has slides and swings decorated with flowers and trees. Third through sixth grade have a mechanical themed playground. There is lots of spinning and climbing equipment decorated with cheers. The special class all have their own unique space. There are 2 art studios for art class. This studio is service. The music room has an open space for rearranging and risers for choir. The band room can also be rearranged for 50 band seats. It also has lockers to store instruments. All of the books from the old buildings are combined into one new library. That is a lot of books. The library also has a reading room, setting in a workroom for all the books that it contains.
My favorite part is obviously the gymnasium because it is much bigger than anything I've ever worked with before. I like the storage rooms in the gym where we store all our physical education equipment. It's very handy to have it right off the gym.
There is a broadcast meal on the court and above the stage. There are locker rooms near the gym so students can take to clothes before classes they need to. There is also a smaller gym near the cafeteria for extra play space. The stage is between the main gym and cafeteria with curtains on both sides. The health clinic is next to the office. It has full safe bed, a restaurant section, and a work desk for the nurse. The school also has a lot of storage space for school supplies, cleaning supplies, and facilities.
It's a new start for everyone. It's an excellent school. We have good teachers, and it's going to be a very good place to learn and pay attention to everybody. And I think that everything will go fine.
Thank you very much for new school.
That's one.
Awesome.
Very good.
I want to add that last year, we did write a grant for the Hardin Foundation community grant. We've got $1,000, and so recently we bought some new equipment that we will be trying out a little later this school year. In the very beginning of Tech Wizards, we focused mostly on the robotics, and now that is just one unit of the many units that we do.
And I think one of the ways that this builds on future things is we know that the middle school is doing robotics and we know that the high school is doing robotics. And so this is just helping them kind of get that early platform or early takeoff space so that when they get into the middle school, they're all aware of that. Part of what the grant allows us to do is purchase the equipment and purchase the laptop computers and iPads. And recently in last year's grant, we got the 3D printer, which the youth will be using to learn how to design and modify a design and be able to present this modified design to our local companies. And we're also looking for our year 5 to be able to learn about drone technology and new robotic EV3 Lego robotics. So this keeps us on the cutting edge. Being in rural Northwest Ohio, we're not near a large epicenter that might have these things happening because of the tech firms or because of the computer aspects of that community. So we feel that allows us to have that here. The only downfall of the program, I think, is that we're reaching 25 kids each year. It'd be wonderful if we could expand and continue to offer this to even more kids because the need is definitely there. Great.
Can we answer any questions for you?
That's fantastic. It looks like they had a lot of fun.
They did.
Yeah, that's wonderful. It's good work. It's nice to have the parents involved. I think that's the key to the whole thing, so thank you.
Yeah.
To the students, does this inspire you to pursue more learning in this area?
Do you want to answer that? Anybody? They were really nervous. They've done a great job.
Very good job. Well, we appreciate what you did. Yeah, very, very nice. Very well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your
Yes,
time.
thank you. Very well done. Thank you. Thanks to the parents for their involvement, the staff, and I think the students have a great future. Anybody else? Okay, move on with our agenda. Item 7.
Well, if you want to give them a chance, you guys don't have to stay for the boring part of the meeting. If you want to go, now's the time to go.
Well, why not? Yeah, you can make your break now. But we appreciate you coming tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
Besides the school tomorrow.
Going to school.
We are.
Spider.
On the boys' night out.
Well, I asked them. Nobody spoke up.
They want to present. Is the dynamic duo presenting? No. Okay. Okay.
That's the crowd.
We're just curious.
I thought I'd ask.
Yeah. All right, now proceeding on with item number 7, reports to the treasurer. Approve the following January 31st, 2015 reports. Cash position, check register, receipt ledger, investment report, and budget versus actual.
Brim.
Brim,
McCullough.
McCullough, any discussion?
I just wanted to follow up on Mr. Watkins' question from last meeting. We did get an answer on some of that because the Times did have that wonderful article about how the real estate taxes were changing and then tying in with the governor's proposal. And that would show where we actually would not lose any state funding based on the changes in the tax situation. But one of the things the article did not touch base on in the governor's proposal was the elimination of the tangible personal property. And in his proposal, he is wanting to still phase that out. In fiscal year 2016, he is showing that he would like to see us have a decrease of 173,884. And then in fiscal year 17, that again, another decrease of 173,885.
Okay.
So we can net that against what was shown, as far as what the increase would have been on the cap. And of course, you know that this is just the governor's proposal and we have 4 more months to see
It's subject to change.
what the House and the Senate will be doing with this, so.
We're currently being reimbursed by about 700,000.
721,000.
So they're cutting it by 25% a year.
Yeah.
Till it's gone, probably. But as long as they're increasing funding, I guess it's not so bad.
Yes.
As long as the funding makes up the difference.
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion? Vote, please.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brim?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Superintendent's reports, communications.
Just a couple of things tonight. I think a lot of our communications will be covered in the committee report. So on Wednesday, we will have a planned 2-hour delay for staff professional development. Also, just wanted to thank the community for going to school today on a holiday.
That makes us even right now, Mr. Watkins. So at the present, we have no days to make up. So this would make us even at the moment, so that's good. The other thing that I just do want to share, because typically on a February board meeting, you will start to see us either vote or talk about the school calendar for the upcoming year. And some of the laws have changed, and it's going to look different this year, and I just want to start preparing the community for what's going to happen. So we have started to draft some calendars based on needs of the community, needs of the district, and we'll put those calendars out in front of our staff. And then what will happen in March is that we'll actually hold a public hearing, if you will, a public meeting at the March board meeting, where we'll actually invite the public to come and discuss the calendar. And so that would be the calendar that we're going to recommend for the upcoming school year. And then the actual vote that we'll do for the 2015-2016 school year calendar will happen in April. So the new requirements is that you hold a public meeting, and we're just going to do it on our board meeting night to make it easy, because that's kind of a familiar date and time, where you share out your calendar, and then 30 days later, the board can take action on that calendar. So we're looking at a March and then voting in April. So just looking ahead to see how that process will work and happen. That's really all I have to share.
Okay, thank you. Board committee reports. Finance committee.
Well, we met for a couple hours one morning. We had several visitors. John Cross and John Hahn came in from the Business Alliance, and we're talking about development of our property across from the Hardin Central School property. They were also talking about the possibility of developing off of Morningside Drive, that extension of that road. So they were pleased to be working with people and trying to solicit people to help with that development. So we strongly encourage them. Should be good for the community and everybody in general. Mike Bacon stopped to talk to us about taxes and reevaluations. And a couple of the things that he touched on was the increase in valuation, which we all saw in the paper. But my question to him was about that $648,000 increase, whether that would stay just for 3 years and be adjusted out after 3 years, or whether we would continue getting that type of an increase. And he was pretty confident that it would not go down drastically at the end of 3 years. He said there'll be some adjustments. There may be adjustments even sooner if they reclassify the woods, which is what they're fighting now, because the numbers for woodlands changed big, and there's some talk about going back and changing that immediately or soon. So he said that could affect that, but I thought it would just kind of go back the way it used to be after 3 years. But he said no, with land prices higher and some of the other, even with crop prices down. So
I would guess it would take another cycle. I mean, in 3 years, it may go down a little bit, but then in another cycle, depending on what commodity prices do, and that's really hard to predict.
So we will be getting that funding.
That average is long enough period of time that I don't think it'll dramatically reduce in just 3 years.
Yeah, I was afraid it was going to go away too soon.
Yeah, I don't think it will.
No, he
It's good and bad.
convinced us that.
It's good and bad, Tom. It's good and bad.
Hey, you're wearing your.
Yeah, exactly.
And Mike Letty, our athletic director, stopped by, and he went over a couple proposals for soft drink companies and a contract in that direction. They're offering money up front to sign contracts, but we made no decision. We're just still talking and looking at the different values of whether to sign with one or just to buy it in the open market. But we didn't have good participation before, and there was some service complaints from before, so we were talking about all those. So he was going back and talking to those people. We also talked about some of the athletic groups and not getting our reports, and he was working on that. So he says those will be coming. They've changed some people again. Tracy gave us an update that she already shared about the $178,000 not shown in the budget that was proposed by the governor, a decrease of 178. So what we saw in the paper wouldn't be the full effect of what we got, but it would still be 788,016 and 884 increase in 2017, which if that happens, is a nice number. Talked about some headaches with the time card situation and some of those, which we had with Jennifer and everybody's been working on. We talked about staffing, and I think everybody got a copy of that. There'll be some additional costs this year, and there's some additional requests for other people. And then we talked about Northwood Elementary and the cost of renovating that building, which is what our earlier meeting was about. And it looked like about $500,000 to do everything that High Point would like to have done, which is a lot of money to spend just on a few frills that wouldn't really change much of the looks of the building. So we were looking at other options to get that number down to a more manageable number, probably $200,000 to $300,000, I think so, it looks like now, and not do the abatement, not do some of the other things that could be held off for a little while.
Because the abatement and the demolition of a couple walls is really what forces us into the higher bracket for the renovation costs. So is it really worth it? And that's what we're working through. What do we really need to do? We know we have to do some upgrades, but where's the line for what we can and can't do?
And I want to thank Jennifer for good notes, because I don't take very good notes in this report.
Sure you do.
So that's all we have with finance, I think. The question, I guess the question is in front of us, since that other it was a work session, is does anybody feel comfortable with spending $500,000 on Northwood, or do we want to keep it at a lower number? The programming in there is kind of untested at this point. High Point's making a commitment for $650,000 worth of equipment. People I've talked to are real excited about the programming we're going to try to bring to our high school students.
And they're also committing the staff, the teachers to teach the coursework. So it's a big commitment. But again, is that building worth abating? And that's where our cost lies. So. And the other part to the discussion that we talked about at the 6:30 work session was that the abatement and demolition of Northwood was in section 1 of the OFCC project. And so since these satellite programs are being housed at Northwood, and Northwood is now becoming as another building of our high school. So kind of I don't know what the right word is, but another building for our high schools.
I'd say an extension of the high school
Extension
program.
of our high school. It's just another building, D building, E building, whatever you want to call it. We can now put Northwood back in segment 2 of the project. So when we would go to build a 712 facility, our career tech programs that are housed at Northwood could be housed in our new 712 facility. We just have to apply to have those added. That way Northwood would be covered in segment 2 to be demoed and to be abated when that building would need to come down. So there's still a good chance that the district wouldn't face those costs if we chose not to abate it at this time. Does that make sense?
Well, I think the feeling that I got back in the work session was that we definitely want to move forward because we have committed to this project with High Point, and it's a definite win-win for our students. But as far as the aesthetic value of $500,000 in renovations and $200,000 to $300,000, I think we all were swinging towards the $200,000 and $300,000 from what discussion we had back there. If it's not going to change the structure and the face of the building to make it look any different, it makes no sense to go the full amount. So we'll have to work with High Point and see just exactly what we need. But I think consensus is we go with the lower number and the second option.
Okay. Everybody in agreement with that?
Yeah, and like you say, the big swing is in the abatement process or removing the asbestos products, but they really, as long as they're undisturbed, they don't cause any issues with occupying the building, and they really, by taking them out, you aren't really gaining much in the quality of the environment or the usability of the space. So, and really the overall cost of abatement wasn't by itself that's huge. It just, the things you have to replace once you take them out adds a lot to the money. So I don't think we're putting ourselves in a lot of risk if we have to do that later. And I don't see where it makes sense to put that extra money in at this point. We want to make it as user-friendly as we can with a reasonable amount of cost. And then if this program is as successful as we hope it and surely think it's going to be, that can change the dynamics of what you put into it down the road. And I think that is always a possibility moving forward.
We could always hope for expansion. And then if you did expansion, those other pieces could be part of it.
In the coursework, the curriculum of those programs are flexible based on the needs of our businesses and our employers.
And I think also the uniqueness of this, the vision in this program could lead to a lot of investment from outside down the road if it's successful. I think it's one of those kind of programs, but as far as this structure itself, I think we can move forward with a little less cost and still make it very successful. So
we've really never publicly addressed what that programming is, have we?
I'm not 100%. We've talked about the basics of the program. They'll actually put out a booklet with the detail of the curriculum because it's still being finalized, but I didn't bring it out here. But the 4 programs will be a health tech program. There'll be a IT program that will be linked to our district technology here at Kenton City Schools. So that'll kind of be a hands-on. There'll be a manufacturing engineering program that will be strongly linked to the robotics, what you just saw Mark Light talk about and what's going on in our middle school and high school already. And then there will be, what am I leaving out? Joe Funkhauser's program. He already does a strong programming technology program at the high school. His students have already been placed in Hardin County working with the city, doing website design, things like that. And so now his program will be accredited. Kids will get credit and certification and just like they would if they would go to the Career Center. So those are the 4 strands, if you will. Now, 3 of those strands will be High Point strands, and that's the 3 that are at Northwood. So if Kenton City Schools can't fill all the seats, other school districts in the county, other High Point schools will be able to attend. And so we'll see how it works. But I don't know how many seats will actually be open because it'll be offered to students in grades 9 through 12. So there's a lot of opportunities for students to be involved.
Now, in addition to that, don't we have a welding program at the high school? Is that separate or is that part of one of these programs?
There's actually welding built into the manufacturing engineering, which we were talking about, the clean lab and the dirty lab. Is that right, Mark? Mm-hmm. Is that right? Okay. The dirty lab has 3-phase electric, which is the high school has, where Northwood only has 2-phase. So we can only do so much there. But there was a welding program that was started last year. I think it was last year. I'm not sure how that will continue, given that now we have these programs, but welding is actually embedded in the engineering manufacturing. There's, I'm just looking at this, there's 2 welding courses on here. And I think the ag course does some, do they do something? She was talking about machinery.
They've got new welders to put in there right now, so
and then
they'll be sharing theirs a little bit.
Each of these programs will do a capstone or a mentoring program with a business. So it's a pretty powerful program.
Yeah, I think a couple components that is the interaction with businesses in the area that allow for internship or experience-based learning in the businesses, which is a huge advantage, I think. And you also said there's actually accredited college credits available through this program, which is also a big advantage and parallels the dual enrollment classes that the high school has that allow students to gain an advantage on further education if that's what they choose to pursue.
Right, so you wouldn't have to take the whole pathway if you couldn't fit it in or you didn't want to. And how many students at our high school now have the opportunity to experience any career tech at all? I mean, now they can take 1 course or 2 if they want to. And then the other piece we discussed in the work session, and I know there's really not a curriculum committee, but is that our 7th and 8th grade will now also have a course, that they'll take a year-long course in a career tech based course, where we had global studies in 7th and 8th grade. Now you'll have global studies in 7th, and you'll have career tech in 8th. So big changes next year.
But I think the community is excited about the change and welcoming the change. And as you mentioned earlier, that it's opening up from freshmen through senior classes. But the big change, I think, for a lot of the students is they'll be able to follow this curriculum and stay in Kenton instead of having to go down to the main campus, which is, the courses have always been offered, but it's hard sometimes to get our students to leave the homeschool and go, down. They don't want to make that trip.
The possibility of taking one course a year.
Right.
Or doing your senior year, one course in a capstone is completely different mindset. I think we're going to reach a whole new base of students.
We hope. Okay, anything else under finance?
Pretty well covered.
All right, move on to facilities.
We covered a lot of that already, haven't we?
We have covered a lot of that already.
Northwood.
We still have ongoing meetings with the facility on the new building. We still have staff out there every day helping with problems and guiding our people through. I want people to know that the construction people didn't abandon us, and they're there helping us learn different techniques when things happen. And it's amazing that we've been there since September and we still have ongoing help every day. So
Every email is answered. So every time there's a lighting, maybe a lighting concern, my lights are doing this, or my heat isn't exactly right, or I don't know how to set my thermostat. Dan Shockey is on site, Doug Comstock is trained, and they answer it. The teachers and staff feel supported. It's amazing.
I think Dan's done an excellent job and went over and above what's been expected, but
absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Did that issue with the heat pumps in one of the pods that was reoccurring, is that still an issue, or is
I haven't heard it again, but I don't know.
They had a meeting, I know, last Monday, and I think they'll bring some stuff up on Thursday. They had some resolutions.
Okay.
But it had something to do with a covering, I think, but they're going to be here on Thursday. I'm sure Joe will have some answers.
Also in facilities, I've been getting some numbers from some building manufacturers. Morton gave me some numbers this morning, which I included each of you. None of it's really set in stone. These are just kind of rough numbers based on some ideas. We've kind of gotten away from a large central building to store all the buses in and gone to individual buildings. There's code that has to be met. Gene Rainsberg was one of the guys who submitted some numbers to you, and they're in your packet. And one of his ideas was to break it down into 4 separate buildings. So Morton came back with the same type of an idea. I've got those numbers for you today. The separation on those buildings, my brother Dean, who's my rep at Morton, said we can get by with 6-foot separation between 2 of those 2 buildings, and then 20 foot between the 2 sections of 2 buildings. But 6 foot isn't enough to service buildings from this. So I told him that probably wouldn't work, but I think there's enough site room if it's drawn properly to make that fit. But those numbers are on your thing. Mosier was going to get back to us on a steel building. He had 2 meetings scheduled last week and had to cancel both of those, so I have not seen his numbers yet. I think it looks like $1 million if we go with a Morton or one of these other ones, would probably get the budget pretty close. And that would be a total project for the entire building and excavation work. And the question comes in about soft costs there for engineering fees again. Do we need to hire an architect? We'll have to pay them 7%, I think, on that one.
7 on the bus garage.
But we're still not sure what direction to go there yet. Depends on how. But we haven't really developed a spec. We're just getting some ideas on what the buildings might cost. This Northwood thing is pushing us a little harder, so this one's just kind of been.
We're not abandoning it. We're still moving forward, but we're definitely looking at costs and everything.
Yeah. That's the only thing, facilities I had.
Okay, extracurricular.
We didn't have a meeting last month. Winter sports are kind of winding down. I thought maybe next month it would be good to ask Mr. Letty to come kind of give us an overview maybe of the sports and things he's got going on and things maybe he needs done for next year. Some of that ties into facilities too, but kind of give us an overview of that. Real quick, FFA's having their breakfast Wednesday morning at the cafeteria, high school cafeteria, 7 to 9. Come on out, have breakfast. I'm sure they'd appreciate it. It's always good.
Always.
I always eat too much. It's about all I can think of right now. We'll wrap it up next month probably.
Okay, Career Center, we're having the same problems down there with the weather as we're having here with our local. Mrs. Penzarski and my wife and I attended the All Boards Banquet on the 5th. I think we're going to rename that the Blizzard Banquet because the
We
weather
only
is
made it because Mr. Blue drove us. That's the only way we made it.
45 and 50 mile an hour at tops, but it was a good banquet. We appreciate them putting that on, and they had a very good speaker that night. We did learn some things while we were there. I think we need to look at changing the date on that or something. Every year we get the worst night of the snow when we go for that. Policy Committee.
The policy committee has not met.
Okay. All right, moving on to old business.
Let's talk about an election coming up. This fall, we'll have another election. There'll be 2 school board members whose terms will be expiring. So we need good candidates to
So
step
you're
forward.
looking for signatures, Tom? Is that what you're drumming for signatures? 25?
I'm hoping to bow out, but let's find some good candidates so I can do that peacefully, right?
So we have until May to work on them.
So that's old business.
That's old business? Okay.
Sounds like new.
Sounds like new to me.
But that comes up next.
Okay. All right, moving on to item number 11, new business. 11A, approve the following salary schedule adjustment and placement for 2014-15 school year. Jason Jones, MA to MA+, Ann Ely, MA to MA+, Carly Borders, BA to BA+, and Tommy Cheney, BA to BA+. Motion, please.
McCullough.
Householder and McCullough. Any discussion? Vote, please.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brin?
Yes.
Mr. Household?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Item B, approve the new supplemental position of high school freshman baseball coach for 2014-2015. Motion?
Grimm?
Watkins.
Motion Brim, second Watkins. Any discussion?
This was based strictly on enrollment. We have a significant number of freshmen that are going out this year. So that's why we're adding the supplemental. We had discussed it probably back in November, I think, in finance as well. There's probably a couple other supplementals that we'll be looking at still for this year. Non-athletic, actually, but extracurricular based.
Okay, vote, please.
Mr. Brin?
Yes.
Mr. Household?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes. Passes 5-0. Item C, approve the following substitutes contingent upon proper certification, training, BCI, FBI check, etc. for the 2014-15 school year. Crystal Conley, substitute cafeteria. Alicia Shape, substitute educational assistant. Carrie Schlatter, substitute educational assistant, secretary, cafeteria. Deb Phillips, substitute educational assistant. Donna Myers, substitute teacher. Motion, please.
McCullough.
Household.
Any discussion? Vote, please.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brin?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Item D, approve the following volunteers for the 2014-15 school year contingent upon required paperwork, BCI, FBI, etc. Tara Oakes, high school softball. Tim Cook, high school track. Motion, please.
Grimm?
Watkins.
Any discussion?
For the volunteers.
No, always. Vote, please.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brin?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Item E, approve the following transfers for 2015-2016 school year. Michelle Wise from first grade to seventh grade language arts. Shannon Coolman from seventh grade math to high school math. Motion, please.
Watkins.
McCullough.
Watkins and Hossolder. It'll be a little quicker. Any discussion?
We were all excited because we weren't going to have to put these for motion anymore on board agendas. However, in the KEA contract, it says pending board approval. So we just want to make sure that we're meeting the contract. So you will be seeing these until we change that.
There we go.
Just want to make sure we're
Nice try, Dave.
doing everything correctly. We tried to get it off of there, but we're not. You're still going to have to vote on it.
We'll keep trying.
Even though if you don't have to, you have to.
All right, vote, please.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brin?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Item F, approve the unpaid leave for Brenda Lutz beginning February 9th, 2015 through March 31st, 2015. Motion.
McCullough.
Householder.
Discussion. Vote, please.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brin?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Item G, approve the following employee supplemental contracts for 2014-15 school year contingent upon required paperwork. Chuck Downing, high school head track coach, step 3, 7+ years experience at a rate of $4,834. Nancy Baum, high school assistant track coach, step 3, 7+ years experience at a rate of $3,411. Kevin Kapanka, high school assistant softball coach, step 3, 7+ years experience at a rate of $3,411. Bo Hoppy, 1/2 high school assistant baseball coach, step 1, 2 years experience at a rate of $1,408. Brad Potts, high school freshman baseball coach, step 0, 0 years experience at a rate of $1,954. Chuck Moore, spring weightlifting coach, step 3, 7+ years experience at a rate of $1,424. Rick Collins, middle school assistant track coach, step 1, 2 years experience at a rate of $1,821. Motion, please.
Brim?
Second.
McCullough.
I heard Watkins first. Faintly. Any other discussion?
Way down here on the end.
Vote, please.
Mr. Brin?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes. Passes 5-0. Item H, approve the following non-employee supplemental contracts for 2014-2015 school year contingent upon required paperwork. Dave Stuck, 1/2 high school assistant track coach, step 2, 10 years experience at a rate of $1,557. Lynn Webb, 1/2 high school assistant track coach, step 0, 0 years experience at a rate of $1,259. Bill Lawrence, high school head softball coach, step 2, 13 years experience at a rate of $4,404. Keith Kissling, high school boys tennis coach, step 1, 2 years experience at a rate of $2,815. Trevor Beasley, 1/2 high school assistant baseball coach, step 0, 0 years experience at a rate of $1,259. Meg Mans, middle school head track coach, step 2, 10 years experience at a rate of $2,483. And Chad West, middle school assistant track coach, step 0, 0 years experience at a rate of $1,556. Motion, please.
Householder.
McCullough.
Any discussion?
It's just wonderful that we have people in the community step up and take these jobs for these people. And 10, 13 years, they've been doing, some of them have been doing it for quite a while. So we surely appreciate it.
Certainly do. Vote, please.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Item I, approve the written retirement resignation of Annette Ansley, Kenton Elementary School second grade teacher, effective May 31st, 2015. Annette has been with Kenton City Schools 28 years of her 35-year career. She is requesting severance pay. Motion, please.
Brim?
McCullough?
Any discussion? I'd just like to thank her, and then we have a couple other retirements on the agenda tonight, and I just want to thank them for all their years of service to the Kansas City Schools. It is very much appreciated. They've done a good job. Vote, please.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Item J, approve the written retirement resignation of Rick Abbott, Kenton High School principal, effective May 31st, 2015. Rick has been with Kenton City Schools 8 years of his 32-year career. He is requesting severance pay. Motion.
McCullough?
Householder?
McCullough and Householder. Any discussion? Vote, please.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Item K, approve the written retirement resignation of Andrea King, school psychologist, effective June 30th, 2015. Andrea has been with Kenton City Schools 14 years of her 30-year career. She is requesting severance pay. Motion.
Brim?
Watkins.
Watkins. Discussion. Vote, please.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Again, we thank all those people. Item L, approve the following out-of-state trips for junior ROTC, March 13, 14 of 2015 to Fort Knox, Kentucky, the Rifle and Drill Team, and April 2nd through the 8th, 2015, Chicago, Illinois for the junior senior trip. Motion.
Householder?
McCullough?
Any discussion? Vote, please.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yep.
Mr. Blue?
Yes. Passes 5-0. It's a great opportunity for these kids. Item M, approve the resolution accepting the amount of and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. Motion, please.
Brim?
Watkins.
Raymond Watkins. Any discussion? Vote, please.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Item N, approve a depository agreement with Liberty National Bank beginning October 1st, 2014, and ending September 30th, 2017. Motion to accept.
Brim?
McCullough?
Any discussion?
Yes, we were a little slow in getting this around.
What was it?
Did you know our agreement expired?
Well, that'll take care of it then. All right. Vote, please.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
I suppose I should abstain on the board of Liberty.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
I don't know that it really affected me much personally.
4-0 and one
You're on the
abstention.
board.
We understand. Addendum, item O, approve the written retirement resignation of Sandy Berry, Kenton Elementary School third grader, effective May 31st, 2015. Sandy has been with Kenton City Schools 14 years of her 35-year career. She is requesting severance pay. Motion?
Householder?
Watkins.
Householder Watkins. Any discussion? Vote, please.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Item P, approve the written retirement resignation of Diana Kopp, Kenton Elementary School second grade teacher, effective May 31st, 2015. Diana has been with the Kenton City Schools 14 years of her 35-year career. She is requesting severance pay. Motion, please.
Grimm.
McCullough.
Again, we thank these people for their many years. Vote, please.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Graham?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Item Q, approve a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel.
Will there be any action afterwards?
There will be no action taken following the executive session. So our next meeting will be held on March 16th, 2015.
I'll move that we go into executive session.
Dave,
I'll second.
seconded by Tom. At
8:01.
8:01.
At 8:02.
8:02.
Vote, please.
Mr. Grimm?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes. Passes 5-0.
Gym class heroes, baby. Yeah.